Hello, hi there. I'm Yvonne Akimoden and I'm a career coach and I work with people over 40 seeking a career change. Welcome to today, Career Saturday. Today's Facebook Live is going to focus largely on how to write a standout cover letter. So we're going to start by looking at what is a cover letter. Most of you probably, if you've applied for a job in any time in the recent past, will already know what a cover letter is. It is that document that accompanies your CV. Most jobs, when you apply for a job, they will ask you for a CV. Some of them will ask you for a cover letter, but a lot of them don't. But that doesn't mean to say that you can't add a cover letter to your application. And the reason a cover letter is a really powerful tool is because when you look at your CV, you write the CV, you send in your CV, and it's in a particular format because that's how CVs are written. They ask for very specific information, job history, a short narrative that supports a particular role that you've applied for, dates, qualifications, and so on. But sometimes when you're applying for a job, there are other things that you want to say. There are other things that you want to tell that future employer that you're not able to do with your CV. And this is where the cover letter really comes into its own. So a cover letter is that accompanying document that really goes on to support your CV. And the cover letter is not a duplicate of what you've already submitted. It's really there as a tool to help enhance and really highlight some of the key things that you want to share with the employer. The thing with most cover letters and what most people do when they write a cover letter is that they either duplicate what they've got in their CV or they write a cover letter that is very short and just says, please find my accompanying CV for this role. Now, people don't give those kind of cover letters a second glance because they're not telling them anything that is of interest. In order to really get your CV to work and for your cover letter to really be that additional tool, and if you like, the spokesperson for you, because at this point, obviously, you're not there yourself, to really act as your sales tool, you need to make that cover letter stand out. So what is it that you do with a cover letter? Some of the common questions that people ask about cover letters are things like, well, how long should my cover letter be? And what sorts of information should I include in my cover letter? Now, the first point or the first part of that question, which is how the length of a cover letter, is that it should never be more than one side of A4. A cover letter that is going into 2, 3, or 4 pages is far too long. It will not get read. It will get discarded, and it will have just been a waste of your time and effort. You want the cover letter to be read, and in order to get it read, it needs to be short. But just because it's short doesn't mean that it can't be powerful. It needs to be short. It also needs to be powerful. It needs to be attention grabbing. So what a lot of people do with a cover letter is they say things like, this is why I'm applying for the job. And then they might say, and these are all the skills that I have. And the person reading that could get that information from your CV. So they're not really going to be that impressed. What they are looking for is what makes you different. So your cover letter is setting out what makes you different. What are the things that you are saying in this cover letter that your CV doesn't permit you to say? So the sorts of things that your cover letter really needs to be talking about are things like what has attracted you to this particular organization. Your cover letter really needs to be very bespoke to the job that you're applying for. The best way to do that is to talk about why you are applying for that particular role. What has drawn you to that organization? What is it about that organization? What is it about that job? What is it about the environment in which that job exists that attracts you? And those are the things that separate your cover letter from everyone else. So the sorts of things that people will be looking for is anything that really tells them that you are committed to that organization. A cover letter really is a sales tool. And what people are looking for is for you to tell them why you're attracted to them and not some other job. The reality is, of course, we know that we apply for several jobs at once, but what people are interested in is knowing that you are applying to their job because that job holds an appeal to you. So what are the things that have attracted you to apply for that particular role as opposed to maybe another one? And it's also an opportunity to inject a bit of your own personality into that cover letter. So what is it about you that has made you feel that you have the right kind of personality we're talking about here for this particular job? So it may be that you're applying for a job within the research organization or a research team. One of the things that will be part of your personality might be that you've always, from a very young age, been someone who is very interested in details. You like figures. Maybe you like to unpick and analyze things. These might be skills that you bring and skills that make you unique because that's your particular skill set. Mine might be different. And someone else's will equally be different. But that injects personality into your cover letter. It's also a really good time to talk a bit about what is it about you that you think will give you that edge over other candidates. What is it that you bring that maybe someone else won't necessarily bring? What they're looking for when you've got a half a dozen or probably even more, a dozen or so CVs, what you're looking for is somebody to tell you, well, actually, I bring a huge amount to the table that you perhaps wouldn't get from someone else. I have skills that you might not see elsewhere. I have experience that you might not see elsewhere. I do things outside of work that would be highly relevant and highly important. I have a real commitment to the organization. I understand the ethos of the organization. I share the values of the organization. That's a really powerful one because some organizations have particular values, they have particular ethos in the way that they work. And what they're looking for as part of the fit for their organization is someone who's going to come along and be able to fit into the culture. Because part of getting the job, it's not just simply about having the skills, it's also about the fit. So what is it that would make you fit well within that culture? What do you understand about that culture? What do you understand about that organization that would make you an ideal candidate for that particular role? So these are some of the things that you really need to think about when you are applying for a job. So we've talked about the length of the CV, which should be no more than one side of A4. We've talked about some of the things that you might want to include in the CV when you're applying for the job. And we've also talked about whether or not you should send a cover letter. Now, I always suggest that you do. Whether or not the company has asked you to do so, it's really important that you do, because it's an opportunity, as I said before, to really sell what you have and what makes you different, what makes you unique, what makes you a really strong, important candidate for this particular role. So those are my tips around how to put together a standout cover letter. Now, if you have any questions or if you'd like to ask me anything about cover letters, please do feel free to drop me a line. I've put the link to my Facebook group, Career Changers Over 40, in the box. So please click on that, join our link, or ask me questions on my Facebook page, which is Career Coach. Love to hear from you. Love to hear your thoughts, your questions, anything that you'd like to ask me. And also, please share this video. I'm sure many of you will have friends who might be looking for a job, so maybe you're not at this point, but you have friends who are, and they might find this useful. So please do not hesitate to share this video. And if you've got questions, we're going to be doing Career Saturday every Saturday at 2 o'clock, Saturday afternoon, and it's an opportunity for you to join me. I'll be live, and you can ask me questions about career change, about CVs, about interviews, about cover letters, and anything else really about jobs. So I look forward to having you join me next Saturday on my Career Saturday. And thank you for watching this video. I hope it was useful. Enjoy the rest of your day.